if I can reach this. Can you guys hear me? Is that okay? Okay. So I'm Jonathan's sister. I'm Susan. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight to celebrate my brother. It's truly amazing how many lives he touched. My brother and I were very close, but he was very humble about his career. And to see all of this is just amazing. Well, it's still shocking and heartbreaking that he was taken too soon. I know my brother would not want us to cry. He would love this, for us to tell great stories and drink beer and just laugh all together. Most of you know my brother as Valania, the talented journalist from Philadelphia, and that he was. But there was a whole other side to my brother, Jonathan, that most of you probably don't know. Jonathan's family was very important to him. We were a big part of his life. We lost our father when we were very young, unfortunately to the same disease, heart attack at a very young age. So it soon became Jonathan, me, and my mother. It was the three of us. And it brought us very close in life. I have so many happy memories of growing up with Jonathan. We would take so many family trips together to the beach. We had amazing Christmases with our Tintera cousins and my mother's brother, and ate lots of food, played football in the snow, and just sang around the piano with my Uncle Edward. It was truly amazing. Jonathan always, and everything he did was all full on, as you've all said already. As a boy, he loved Sherlock Holmes. Hence, we had the cape, the hat, and the pipe. Then came the magician with magic tricks, a magic cape and a hat, and a real live bunny that was now then our pet called Spotty. In high school, he was very obsessed with the Beatles, and when John Lennon died, he made it a national holiday. And him and all his friends took off from school, whether our parents liked it or not, and they would go down and have John Lennon Day. We hung out in completely different crowds in high school, but he was truly one of the individual, shopped at Goodwill, combat boots at a time that combat boots were not mainstream. But very cool, tight circle, and everybody always had a respect for them, even though they were different. His hair, always a priority in our home. I always teased him that he spent more time doing his hair than I did. We had the Sean Cassidy feathered hair to Flock of Seagulls styled hair. My brother always had a great hairdo that he was always so proud of. And then as he got older, it became the hats. He had a hat for every occasion in life. Our home was never boring growing up with Jonathan. I remember my mother teaching my brother to drive as she brought her hot cup of tea and set it on the dashboard. Needless to say that our driving lesson ended very quickly as he hit the brakes, the tea went flying, and the lesson was over. Why she had a cup of tea for my brother driving, I still to this day do not understand, but it is a moment I will never forget. And then there was always the wild car chase from Jamie Nurr's house. Classic. Me in my pajamas in the back seat, my mom saying, "We have to go check on Jonathan. He's not allowed to drive after dark." Sure enough, we pull up, him and Jamie in the car, dark out, just pulling off as we arrive. My brother sped off as he had no idea who was following him. So we chased him through Allentown on a very fast car chase, my mother cursing him the whole way and screaming Jonathan out the window as we went. My brother kept driving until finally we hit a very large hill and his car couldn't go very fast, and he finally heard my mother screaming, "Jonathan," out the window. It was quite the moment and a story we laughed out for many years. My brother did live a very unconventional life, and he didn't care about money, cars, or anything materialistic. He was always true to himself and never wavered. He only cared about his passion of singing and writing. He and his friends formed a band called the Cyclone Rangers, an alternative garage band, which I'm sure many of you know of. They played at all the cool clubs in Bethlehem and then got signed with a major record company, produced albums, created a few music videos that you can still find on YouTube, and then they got to tour Europe, which was an amazing dream for him. After that period of his life, he then moved on to Philadelphia and his writing. And through dedication and hard work, he became published through many amazing articles and a lot of different media outlets. He interviewed some amazing, interesting people like Brian Wilson from the Rolling Stones and Elliott Smith. My brother had a way of getting people to tell their story that many writers before him were unable to obtain. Through it all, my mother was always so supportive and was so proud of all of his accomplishments, especially when he actually got his documentary, Valley of Sin, produced by Fox Nation. He finally hit his stride. It truly was monumental for Jonathan, my mother, and I, a moment I will never forget. Jonathan was so proud, and we were too. As my mother said, he made it. He finally made it. My brother was an amazing uncle to my 3 children, Hunter, Jack, and Ella. My children adored him. And although they didn't get to see him a lot, the time they spent was always meaningful. He always took them to cool places, Crystal Cave, the Game Preserve. When he was with them, he was all in, 100%. It was all about them. My brother always lit up a room when he walked in and always made us laugh with his wit and humor. He was a great storyteller and was always so intriguing to talk with. These past few years, my mother's health started to diminish, and we had to move her to Charleston so I could help manage her care. Jonathan and I had a funny pact that since I was the caregiver while he was far away in Philadelphia, he had to answer every single phone call whenever I called. So I could vent all my frustrations or need his help. That was his part of the deal, and he did. We spoke almost every day, and it truly bonded us in a way I had never seen coming. I truly will miss him, talking to him and having his guidance and support in my life. He called my mother every day and sent her books to read so that they could talk about them in the evening. He was truly an amazing son. There are no words to describe the loss of a sibling. I treasure the time I had with him. I will always have our memories, but I will miss him dearly. Until we meet again, Jonathan.